G'day, I'm Bob from Paradise. You are in Nambour, Queensland, Australia. We're Paradise Distributors, and today we're going to talk about propagation. So, and I'm sorry we're 3 minutes late, or 4 minutes late. Anyway, we've got started now. We're going to show you three of our igloos that we keep propagating right through winter, but you're much more restricted, and growth is usually a fair bit slower, in the winter period. We've been getting temperatures down. We've actually had down to 3 degrees, but this has been a pretty cold winter for our area, and we've had quite a few 7 and 8 degree days. Some of the days have been pretty cold too, didn't get past 15 or 16 degrees, but anyway, that's the way it is. But we've had some really wet periods this winter as well, which and one of the things about the igloos that we have, you need to have a plastic cover. This is just greenhouse plastic here. When you propagate a young plant, you've got to keep the rain off it. You can get away with just being under shade cloth if there's no rain, but as soon as it starts raining on it, the plant's going to rot while it's trying to establish itself. It hasn't got any roots in the pot that you put it into to control the moisture content, and so you'll get a root rot in there. It'll get too wet. So just back to the structure of this igloo is very simple. It's just shade cloth, and then we've got greenhouse plastic on the outside of it. And now they'll tell you that only lasts 2 or 3 years. Well, this is probably due for replacement, but it's been going for about 10 years so far, or longer. So in winter, in this type of igloo, it still gets fairly cold at night. It still gets cold at night. We can still propagate Hoyas in our climate. We can propagate things like Aphelandras. Dylan, these here, Aphelandras, these Hoyas. If you come along here, we're propagating these through winter. That's the crinkled McGillivray that I collected in New Guinea. I'll just show you. Like, not all of them survive, obviously. This is the type of potting mix that we use. You can see it's very well drained. It's just pine bark composted, and we specify the percentage of different sized particles in it. See how well drained that is, and we can propagate anything in that, and we don't need, and we grow all our plants in that as well. Some plants we might add a little bit of perlite, but that's very, very rare. We might add some coarse perlite to it to give it increased drainage. Usually we can just propagate straight into this size. Sometimes we'll go straight into 50mm tubes or into plug trays. Just depends what we're trying to achieve. So we come along here, you can see in this type of igloo, under these conditions, there's some plants that we can grow. There's generally a thicker leaf type of plant like philodendrons, Hoyas, Aphelandras, those type of things. We can still propagate those fine. Not the thin leaf type things, probably have less success. So here's some philodendron Brazils. You can see they're doing fine. And there's some dracaenas there, some more dracaenas here. We'll just go through some Aphelandras over there, and here's some philodendron salons. We'll just go up to the next igloo and explain what's happening there.
We've got a few questions actually, Bob, if you don't mind answering.
Yeah.
We got someone asking if we have any Australian native Hoyas, if you're aware if we have any.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Which ones? McGillivray is an Australian native. The crinkled one is from New Guinea, but we just have the straight McGillivray, which is Australian. Hoya australis we have. I'm just trying to think. I'd have to think a bit further which other ones are native. Probably all in all we've got about 40 Hoyas, so we don't have them all. But anyway, come through to the next igloo. So ask that question. So we come into this igloo here. Notice we've got this disc. It's starting to wear out a bit. That's to keep the turkeys out. we look after our brush turkeys here, and we've got 3 nests on the property, and but we don't like them coming into the igloos because they're likely to jump up and have a bit of a scratch around. This igloo we're keeping, these are all our caladiums, young caladiums in plugs. You can see they're dying down. That's on purpose. We're keeping them really dry at this stage. These are young caladiums that we've brought in, so their bulbs are only very small at the moment. We don't want to rot them over the winter, and then we'll really get them going once spring hits. So now it's July 13th, another 2 or 3 weeks it'll be spring here, and we'll start potting them up and getting them ramping along. So this is a similar igloo to the last one, only it's taller, and you can generally, we're trying to keep plants drier. Some plants we need to protect, like alocasias, we bring in here because a lot of them tend to die down in the winter, and so this is really a continuation. We might bring alocasias in here. That's the main thing with the caladiums. We'll just go up to our next igloo. It's one that we've built more recently. We'll just walk up along here. Just come along. So this is the igloo here. This is a double skinned igloo. Double skin for insulation, and we've got a little fan in it that inflates the 2 skins. You can see how it's sort of pushed out and fat. We'll show you the fan inside. So just come through here into this igloo. We come in here. Yep. So if you want to have propagation success, you don't need a really large area. This is a fairly small igloo, but we've gone to a lot of trouble. It's got a concrete floor. We've got lights that we can turn on, and so we turn them on about for 7 hours during winter. Costs about $8 a night, and so we can increase the day length in this area. And the lights, you can see these lights, they also do produce a bit of heat. So it stays quite warm in here of a night, and if we just come along here, it's quite interesting, this little fan coming up here. Just get a shot of that tiny little fan that inflates all of this igloo. Not the ends, it's just the part that goes over like this. There's two lots of solar weave. They're buried in the ground, and this little fan here keeps it all inflated, so it's all insulated, and it keeps it cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter. And even though it might be only a few degrees warmer on those really cold nights, because it's humid in here, it just feels so much warmer every time you walk in here. So if we just in here, we can talk about 3 types of propagation. So number 1 is cuttings, always. Now here's some Medanella magnifica that we've got here. We've grown them from cuttings straight into that mix. We've got, this is our diabetes plant. This is the first time we've tried to grow these in here. In the winter we'll have a few. With some plants, like they're going to grow really leggy, so we're continually always carry a pair of secateurs. Oh, these are great cutters, I love these, that we get from, what do they call, the Black Panther stainless steel. They're fantastic. Anyway, so just keep nipping the top off so they don't get too long and leggy, because this, we have to be able to send these so we out through the mail, so we don't want them too long, but also we don't want them leggy. We want a nice stocky plant to send out. So they're grown from cuttings. Here's some more. This is Faradea splendida. So we've just taken these cuttings. These leaves won't fall off, but they'll send a shoot out through there. But these were only done last week, so that hasn't happened yet. And this is the giant balsam, Novia Solandra maxima. All these ones have only been done last week, so there's no actual growth on there yet. So these are plants that have been grown from cutting, all into that mix that we were talking about. So we walk along here. So these have been grown from cuttings. These are this is actually a variegated vanilla. It's a very rare one. So like when you take a cutting, just take a piece like that. Not a great big long piece, just something like that. You can see the Hoyas that we've done over here. They're only 2 leaves. See how we've done those? Now those Hoyas will probably, because we need more, we're bringing more plants into this warmer igloo, we'll probably move all these Hoyas out into one of the other Hoyas, in one of the other sheds that we just showed you, so they can take a bit more cold.
We had someone asking where we can find the lights inside the igloo.
Where we can find them?
The lights.
Where you can buy them?
No, find the lights in the igloo.
What do you mean?
Oh, well, she just wants to know where the lights are located inside the igloo that warms it up.
Yeah, they are here. But I thought we showed. Yeah, these are the lights here. There's 16 in this igloo. I think they'll cost you about $4,000. But if you've got a smaller area, you just might need a couple like these. These are set up for growth. You can set them up for flowering as well if you like.
Well, she's also asking where we can buy them from.
Yeah, well, I'll have to let you know. I forget who it was we got them from. It was someone in Victoria, but I can answer that directly. I'll find out. I mean, these lights may not be the best ones you can buy, because you have to get an electrician in to set these up as well. So there might be there are others that you can buy that you can just plug in. Might be easier. Just depends what sort of an area you want to do. So now another way of propagating is through seed. You see we've got these little igloos here. So with these, here's some that have come up. Right, so all we're doing with these are just pots. So we half fill it with ordinary potting mix. We put a bit of coca peat on top. We spread the seeds on top of that, and then put a bit of vermiculite over the top of the seeds. And then we put this stake in, and then we just get a little sandwich bag, anything like that, and just put over the top. Makes a little igloo. So these, once they germinate, so we keep looking in there to see if we can see any green, and then we'll take the top off. And you can see up here, these clitorias, they're just, and the next stage is you pot them up. You see we've just experimented to see if these are ready to go into these little 50mm tubes, and that looks like it's okay. So these clitorias, probably next week we'll put them up into this stage, and then we pot them up one more stage. So we have cuttings. So we've looked at the cuttings, we've looked at seed production. With the seeds, let's just have a look at these too. We've done some. Now they've come out. We've got anthurium seeds, and we've done them inside. I'm not saying anthuriums you can't do the way we've done, but we happen to have done these between some hand towel, put the seeds in there, kept it moist, and then put it in a little Flip-Lop bag. Just put it in there, and they'll germinate in there. Then take them off. These have only been taken off out of there last week and put in sphagnum. Now we haven't watered them at all. This is a very moist environment in here. And then, see, these are some older that we've transferred from here into these little pots. And you can see how small they are, but they're going strong. As long as you can got the right conditions for them. If they were out in the other igloo, you wouldn't have this success. You'd have to wait until spring, till you got warmer weather. Okay, so that's the seeds, and so this is all about having success, whether you've just got a very small area, or whether you want to be an actual producer of plants. This is, these are the ways that you go about it. Well, the other thing you can do, of course, is buy plants in tissue culture. But when you buy those, you've usually got to buy in lots of 1,000 or 2,000 or something like that. So just come up here a bit further. So these are Medanillas that we've done from cuttings. You can see, you know, they vary. If you've got a pair of secateurs with you, you can just cut back anything and remove dead ones, so you're making up space all the time. So these are some heliconias that we've done by division. That's the other way you can propagate. You get a clump of plants, pull them apart and put one in each pot. That's what we've done with these heliconias here. So if we just come around here,
we got another question, Bob.
Yep.
So we
Who's
had
this from?
so we had Debbie asking what's the humidity in this igloo.
You shouldn't ask me a question I don't know the answer to.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. The humidity, I imagine, would be, I've never measured it. I'm only guessing 70%. I'd say it'd have to be 70 or 80% in here. I hardly have to water. I just do a little bit of spot watering in this igloo here. The others we have to look at, because this is winter. You know, in summer you're watering every day just through our irrigation system in here. I just do a little bit of spot watering because it's fully enclosed in here. Yeah. Whereas the other ones will dry out more, and I do spot watering, and occasionally I'll turn on our irrigation, like I've got sprinklers. You can see a line of sprinklers along there. There's another line of sprinklers along here, but I'm not turning them on at this time of year. Some plants will get too wet. Now here's some herbs that we've grown and we've taken cut. I was able just to get 4 of each, and now we're gradually multiplying them up. See this? We found we were successful with these first 5, so we've done a whole tray of that self-heal plant. And this nutmeg bush, not a very high success rate because I've thrown out, you know, the rest of the tray, but we've got those, and so we've now got 20 instead of 4. These Brahmi, they look like they're going to be successful. These Vietnamese mint, so we had 4 plants, and now we've got a whole tray, and we've got another tray down there, and that's only taken a few weeks. So that's the beauty of plants, you can multiply them really well. So these Pratias here, we bought 2 plants, right? And look how we've just divided them and we're multiplying them. Soon they'll be going out. Okay, and just come past. See these variegated obovatas, Hoya obovatas. We're just gradually increasing our numbers by taking cuttings with them. This is another one that we've done by division, Crinum menahume. There we go. That's a flower. It's a pretty old label. They look like they're dying back, but they're not. These are all little bulbs, and we've been growing. Well, we've been holding on to those for a few years, but we decided to divide them, and we've got some bigger bulbs there. These will die down, but some will die down, and others will spring up. But by spring, these will all be going mad. So, Helen, what else we've got to cover? That's probably about it for today. Oh, we've got a plant.
I think we got some gift plans that you're thinking of doing.
Yeah, so we've got this black cardinal philodendron. We're going to give this away to the first 10 people who would like it with their next order. If you just go, when you order, when you go into the checkout, and right down the bottom where it says go to checkout, it says order notes. Just put in there that you'd like the free black cardinal from our nursery walkthrough on today's date. What was that? What's today? Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday
11th or something like that. Yeah, just say that and you'll get a free black cardinal philodendron with your next order. Yes, we've got some philodendrons in here too, by the way. We just walked past these subhastatums. We've got a few pink princess in there. I've just bought selected a few, and in here we've got some cuttings of begonias. You can just see them starting to shoot already. I've only had them in here for 2 weeks. Yeah.
So we just had another question popped up, so I'm just going to read it out. So we had Emma asking, hang on, I'm sorry, I'm still trying to read the question. Do you work out and what do you propagate to sell each year? Sorry, this is a little bit of a hard question to read. Do you plan your propagations each seasons depending on market trends?
Well, that's a difficult one. You've got to be very adventurous to be in nursery business. By the time you propagate something, the trend could be over. When we put out a catalogue, we know some plants are going to sell really well, but the next time it mightn't sell well, and that might only be 3 months later. But obviously there's some plants we know are going to sell better, so that we do go by market trends. But then because we do a lot of new plants all the time through the year, we just don't know how they're going to go. But we like to give our customers something different all the time, and makes it more exciting for us. So market trends can be difficult, but yes, we would if we could. Thank you everybody who's coming today. If you want to have success with your plants, just follow those simple procedures, and I'm sure you'll go really well. We're going to show you a lot more as times go on, but just keep looking for new plants, and multiply them. Don't multiply too many, because you never know, you might be stuck with them. But just multiply a good number and go from there.
So we just had one final question. Someone's asking, what is your favourite plant?
What is
your favourite plant?
My favourite plant.
It's a bit of a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah. I really like the Medanillas. I think people like collecting. They like to get onto something they really like an African violet. Now, I like African violet, sure, but then they like to collect a whole range of them. I like Medanillas, and that's what I think people like to do that, because that's how you get collectors collecting. They like something and you have to collect the whole lot of them. But anyway, I like Medanillas. I think they're really interesting, and you can grow them in a fairly wide range of climates and very spectacular flowers. So I wouldn't say which Medanilla. I like all of them, but that's my best answer at the moment. Also, anything that you can eat is always pretty good, isn't it? Okay, until next time, thanks a lot, and click on the like or whatever you have to do there if you feel like it, and certainly spread the word. Click on share. That's always a good idea. Okay, we'll catch you next time. Thank you.